Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We are still at the offices of the Osisko mining group. And yeah, here after the PDAC 2018, we have the big luck to talk to John Burzynski now, the CEO of Osisko Mining. And want to get, of course, an update on all the lovely projects, but especially on Windfall, of course. John, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yeah, great to have you here. Thank you very much for taking the time. Let's dive directly into your, I would call it major baby, Windfall. Yeah. What's going on? You wanted to do 800,000 meters of drilling. You did 550,000 already. So what's up there?
It's certainly the biggest project in Quebec. It's the largest drill program in Canada, easily one of the top most active programs worldwide in terms of exploration. We had 24 drills at Windfall alone last year. We had another 2 drills on what we call our Osborne Bell deposit. It's a secondary deposit we bought last year. We actually had another 6 drills in Ontario. So I know everyone's talked about the 24 drills we had at Windfall, but we actually had about 32 at one point. Currently, it's a lot of drills. And
you are owning them, or you lease them?
These are about 4 or 5 different drill companies. People often ask us which drill company are we using. Our answer is all of them. But it's a huge program by any standard.
Yeah.
But really, it's no different from what we did when we drilled off Canadian Malartic a number of years ago. At that point, I think we peaked at about 18 drills, but we drilled 1 million meters over 3 years there. As a group, we've historically been big drillers. Our rationale is that you create value at the drill bit by finding new ounces, and it's the same thing we're doing at Windfall.
Well, definitely, yeah. That's a statement that is absolutely super true because you delivered that. May I ask, how much is a meter to drill then?
The all-in average cost up there is about $150, $160 a meter. So it's very cost-effective. We've had international projects in the past where the costs were $400 or $500 a meter US because you're in remote locations. It's much more expensive for the drillers to get there, so their fees are higher. Your international costs for your crews are higher. Quebec is probably one of the best places in the world to drill. We have access to flow-through financing, which means we get to raise capital at a higher premium than the share price is usually trading. And if we use hard dollars, we actually get 38.75% of the drill money back the following year as a check, not as a credit, but as a check. So it's very cost-effective.
Fantastic. So that means that you've financed with the flow-through also the year after.
Yeah. It allows you to spend the money up to about 12 months or 12 or 24 months after you've raised it. If you raise it early in the year, you technically have 2 years to spend it. But it's an advantage in that because your relative drill cost is lower, you can drill more. And people ask us all the time, why are you drilling so much? The reasons are twofold. One, it's very inexpensive. But 2, you need to drill a lot to be certain of your ounces. There have been a number of failures of projects where people hadn't drilled enough in the past, and they get nasty surprises when they go mining. We've always been very conservative because as a group, Osisko is mainly run by technical people. We're all geologists or engineers. We don't like to make mistakes, so we drill a lot.
Yeah, and I think also when you make a mistake in this dimension, that hurts really.
Yeah, shareholders don't like to have surprises, and neither do we. It's one thing that separates our group from many other mining companies is we're actually a mining company. Our intention when we find something is to actually put it into production and pour gold bars.
Fantastic. Your share price has come off a little bit, and I think there was a little bit of a delay you reported. But even when I hear you talking now, it's quite obvious why you are delayed, because you want to make it perfect.
And because we're drilling 800,000 meters.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're off about 50% from our high of last year. But that's not just Osisko Mining. Many of the companies are off their highs. We see the same thing with most of the companies in our group and many of the other companies in the business. There's been a general outflow of money from the resource sector, much of the...
Thanks to Bitcoin and blockchain.
Yeah, Bitcoin and marijuana stocks and different things. They're to us, they're flash in the pan. I think what a lot of people have to recognize is that mining is a long-term venture. Typically it takes between 6 and sometimes 15 years from the first drill hole to the first production. So by nature we have to look at it as a long-term venture in terms of the investment. There shouldn't be any investors out there who put their money in on Monday and expect to get a return on Friday.
No, definitely not.
But it's all... the value of our company in this market, specifically Osisko Mining, is hinging on our resource, and that's coming out in 8 weeks. So while the share price may have declined with the last 12 months in terms of the general market, there's great anticipation about what that resource number will be. Shareholders don't have long to wait, and we're not known for missing as a group. We've been very successful in the past, and I think investors can count on that.
Absolutely, yeah. And when I look at your smile, yeah, the resource must be good.
Well, you know, we sleep well at night. You know, we're a strong technical group. The one thing that gives us great comfort is the volume of drilling that we're doing.
Absolutely,
and,
yeah. I mean,
you know, the team's been working very hard.
Yeah, I mean, windfall must look like Swiss cheese, honestly. Yeah?
You know, in places it does, and when that resource comes out, and back to the 1 million meters that we drilled at Canadian Malartic, we had to do a huge volume of drilling because it was a low-grade bulk tonnage deposit. They weren't very familiar with that style of mining in Canada at the time, 15 years ago. And so to prove to the market and also not to make any mistakes, because we knew if we were wrong by 0.1 gram per ton in what we calculated as a resource average grade, that would mean the profit margin. It could account for a variance of about 100,000 ounces a year, which would have been the profit margin for the mine. And if you go back to when we started production there in 2011, and now Yamana and Agnico, with their production, it's been 1 or 2% variance every year. So we were right to drill it with that density. Our first resource estimate at Windfall will focus on 3 main areas of the deposit, but probably 60 or 70% of it remains still to be drilled to that same density. So that resource will be the start.
Wow.
And you know, the market anticipation right now is somewhere between 2.7 and maybe 3.2 million ounces. Again, it's only about 8 weeks. You know, I'm not going to tip my hand as to where we come in, but it's about 8 weeks, and you'll see.
Okay, I'm pretty sure you will surprise the markets, as you always did by now. How many meters will be included in that resource? I mean, 540,000 drilled?
Approximately 550,000.
Oh, so all?
Yeah, because
really?
we exited last year with 518,000 meters completed. We're drilling at a rate of about 40,000 meters a month right now. But with that, we closed the database about 10 days ago, which means we can now take some of those drills and start looking at the other 100+ exploration targets we have on the larger 3,000 square kilometer property that surrounds Windfall. We have many targets that we believe are Windfall lookalikes. We actually drilled about 12 of them a year ago. We made 3 discoveries, but then we found links. Which is a continuation and a very high-grade portion of Windfall. So we took all of the drills and drillers back to the camp to do the resource drilling. Now that the primary resource work has been drilled, we're sending a lot of those drills out to look at the other targets again.
Fantastic. Yeah. So with that drilling rate, it means like 6 to 8 months you should have achieved then the 800,000 meters. And when you have done that, then you do another resource update, or you want to start already with PEA and stuff like that?
We have another 250,000 meters to drill this year. We'll complete that before probably November. And so there will be a resource update when we put out the feasibility this time next year. Our catalyst events will be the resource for Windfall Links in May. We have a preliminary economic study coming out in June. We have a ramp that's going in at the same time, so we'll have some bulk sampling results for metallurgy and grade confirmation during the year. And then we'll have the feasibility study tabled in the first quarter of next year. So by the time that fees comes out, there will be an update to the Windfall Links resource. And basically with the remaining 250,000 meters, what we hope to do is add more ounces to that resource that will be coming out in May.
Great. And of course you have the money in the bank to do all that?
We exited last year with $192 million of cash and equity positions. We're spending about $8 to $10 million a month right now. Our total budget for Quebec is $100 million this year. So we'll end the year with about $100 million of cash. So we're still one of the very best finance companies in the business.
Definitely, yeah, as it always have been. Super. John, thank you very much for the insight and the update. And yeah, I look forward then to the resource.
Stay tuned. It's going to be a very exciting year. There are a lot of major events coming for this company.
Super fantastic. And the people get it now for a discount of 50%. That's the good news.
It's one thing I'd like to remind your viewers of is collectively as a group, we own about 20% of Osisko Mining. There's a control position of about 17–18% held by Osisko Gold Royalties, and management accounts for about another 3 or 4%. So we have a very strong vested interest in this being a successful project.
Absolutely. John, thank you very much for that, and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, there was John Burzynski. You heard it, the CEO of Osisko Mining, and in approximately 8 weeks, this resource estimate is coming out. And as I have a good feeling here after the interview, I must say it will be for sure sure something of high quality, something really good, as the Osisko group people are really famous for what they've did in the past, that they are very, very focused on their work and very serious in what they do. And sometimes it takes 8 weeks longer. It doesn't matter, as long as the work is done perfectly and there are no bad surprises. And I think that's much more important than to do something really in a hurry here. And you get the stock 50% cheaper than last year. So great buying opportunity here. Check out the company. Thanks for watching us. Bye-bye from Toronto.